Welcome back to Cure of the Common Game. Today, in deck number 775, I ask, has there ever been a creature you just want to make a 7/7? Storvald, Frost Giant, Jarl. So we have a 7-mana 7/7 giant here in Bant colors. Ward 3. Other creatures you control have Ward 3. It's not nothing, right? But whenever Storvald enters the battlefield or attacks, kind of all Titany there, choose one or both. Target creature has base power and toughness 7/7 to end of turn, or target creature has base power and toughness 1/1 to end of turn. Now, how I started building this was cards that I wanted to make 7/7. So I searched up a phrase on Gatherer. Yes, I still use Gatherer. I know a lot of people are using Scryfall, but I just am used to Gatherer. They give us the Cold-Eyed Selkie. And that was what kind of triggered my brain, was that phrase, that many. So, whenever Cold-Eyed Selkie deals combat damage to a player, you can draw that many cards. So obviously we're going to want to make him a 7/7. And yeah, Island Walk's pretty good. The ability to draw 7 cards here is outstanding. So I went a little deeper into it. Hunter's Insight. Choose target creature you control. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. Garrick's Harbinger. Look at that many cards. You may reveal a creature, a Garrick Planeswalker. It'll be a creature. We don't have a Garrick in the deck. And put it into your hand, the rest on the bottom. Cool. Crosstown Courier. That player mills that many cards. Towering Wave Mystic, that player mills that many cards. I know those are the only 2 milling cards in the entire deck. Sometimes it's relevant, sometimes it's not. Froghemoth. Trample Haste 4/4. Wouldn't mind making this a 7/7. Exile up to, when it deals combat damage, exile up to that many target cards from their graveyard. And then my personal favorite, Cephalid Constable. This just feels wrong. So many levels. Deals combat damage to a player, return up to that many target permanents that player controls to their hands. Making this a 7/7, that's pretty strong. So before we get into the other creatures that we want to make 7/7, let's do our usual bit here and go with our ramp, shall we? We have Paradise Druid, Llanowar Elf, Farseek. New art for Wayfarer's Bauble, kind of neat. Avacyn's Pilgrim, it fits. Search for Tomorrow, Cultivate, Rampant Growth, Explosive Vegetation, Sky Shroud Claim. Keep in mind our commander is a 7 mana. So we've got a, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Simic Signet, Commander Sphere, and lastly, but definitely not least, Plague Mirror. It is mana acceleration, to get you 1, but it also is an infect creature, so we can turn this into a 7/7 if we have the opportunity. Yeah, that's a big deal. So, card draw, some Serum Visions. I have the quad here. Growth Spiral, Eureka Moment, Urban Evolution, and Tatiova Benthic Druid, because, they're just too good to not run, right? But Rites of Flourishing and Greater Good also seems to work, because if we are making some of these 7/7s, I'll sack them, draw some cards. But let's look at the other. Now, I'm kind of focusing in on the making something 7/7. We're obviously going to make our whoever is blocking something a 1/1. That's, foregone conclusion there. But let's look at what we want. Other stuff we want to make 7/7s. Slitherblade can't be blocked. It's a 1-drop, and Storvald also does his thing when he comes into play, right? So, hey. So the Mistcloak Herald. There again, can't be blocked. Acidic Slime, having that death touch. we have shadow creatures. Why not, right? I'd love to turn in Thalico Sentry or Soltari Trooper into 7/7s. I did put the Blink Dog in here just because it is a cheap double striking creature, and that is mean to give to make it 7/7. Geist of Saint Traft. Mainly, my thing with Geist is, yes, it's got hexproof, but it just gets blocked in combat and dies all the time. Well, you know what? If it's a 7/7, it might not so much. Brago. Exile any dump. Brago wouldn't be bad as a 7/7 flyer. And then you get to do the blink thing. Viridian Corruptor. Also, you know, it comes into play. You 1/8/7 an artifact. And it also has Infect, much like the Glistener Elf. And Phyrexian Digester. Yeah. Needlethorn Drake, flying a Death Touch. That's a sweet 7/7. And then Dream Trawler, flying lifelink when you draw a card. You know, it gets +1. And it does all the things that are on the cards. Dream Trawler's a great card. It's even better when you're looking at it from a 7/7 aspect. But let's look at our Master Symmetrist. Whenever a creature you control with power equal to its toughness attacks, it gains trample. So that is not bad. Clone. I just wanted a clone. Sunblast Angel is more removal than anything else. I probably should have put in the removal pile. Spirit Mantle to keep our commander from getting... Yeah, I mean, he is a 7/7 giant. That's hard to beat in combat, but not impossible, right? And protection from creatures just means he's never getting blocked. It's 3 hits for a commander win. Or kill, rather. Steal the Godhead. Unblockable and lifelink. That's all right. Overrun. Of course, we got creatures. Now, I know this is the B-side. A-side and B-side of the album. The echoing equation here. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of it till end of turn, except they aren't legendary, and the chosen creature is legendary. Yeah, that could be ridiculous with some of these infect creatures. Good old-fashioned Might of Oaks. I'll admit it found its way in there because of the 7/7 aspect. And then Ride the Avalanche. The next spell you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. When you cast your next spell this turn, put X/1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature where X is the value of that spell. See, Storvald just does the base power and toughness 7/7. Any +1/+1 counters are, you know, on top of that. And most of the creatures that we have, you know, we want to make bigger anyway, right? So... Anyway, let's look at these removal spells we got. We have, I guess we'll do the counter magic first. The Absorb, Negate, Bant Charm, and Decisive Denial. We got a little Imprison in the Moon action going on. Y'all know how much I love in play but useless. Disenchant, Condemn, Crib Swap, and this... Return to Nature here with that ink spot on it. Yeah, it came out of the pack that way. I have filmed a whole bunch of pack openings, and I'm just mounting them up. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I do have it on film coming out of the pack that way. Tried to scratch it a little bit, see if it popped off, but it did not. So, anyway, let's look at our non-basic lands. Let's pull this camera up because we got a bunch of it. It's 3 colors, you know. So, once again, no particular order here. Seaside Citadel, Arctic Tree Line, Lumbering Falls, Glacial Floodplain, Sky Cloud Expanse, Exotic Orchard, Tranquil Cove, Bant Panorama. Gotta have that Rogue's Passage now, you know that. Azorus Chancery, Thornwood Falls, Sungrass Prairie, The Evolving Wilds in the module version. Don't know why I wasn't doing that the whole time. Rimewood Falls. Command Tower. Tranquil Expanse. Whoop. Get in there, Blossoming Sands. Simic Growth Chamber. Azorius Guildgate. Celestia Guildgate. And the Terramorphic Expanse. So that is it for Storvald. Have had a chance to play it. Played it one-on-one, and I played it in a multiplayer game. Was I the one that played it in the multiplayer? I think I was. I don't. Anyway. Unblockable creatures being 7/7s are a force to be reckoned with, I tell you that. So we're going to go ahead and put 775 up here on the wall. Storvald is done. Now, little update. There's going to be one deck in the upcoming few decks that are not going to be from D&D. I felt like it was necessary to have deck number 777 be on theme. So, that being said, we'll let y'all extrapolate as to what the theme is. You only got to wait a couple days, right? Anyway, that's what I've got for today. I do appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, all that stuff. But we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.